Nnpp crisis worsens as ESCOs disagree openly on defection with national leader Kwankwaso. While the crisis within the new Nigerian People's Party, Nnpp, seems to deepen with each passing day, as the national secretary of the party, Dr. Ogini Olaposi, says plans to join the All Progressives Congress are by Senator Rabiu Kwakwanso and his Kwakwansia movement, and not the party. Well, he said this through a statement on Monday in Lagos, that's yesterday. Before his clarification, Kwakwanso, a former Kano State governor and 2023 presidential candidate of the Nnpp, had on Saturday declared that he and his supporters are now ready to join the ruling APC. According to Olaposi, the memorandum of understanding between the Kwakwansia movement and the Nnpp ended after the 2023 presidential election. Well, the crisis began because rather than live peacefully, they began to plan to hijack the party. Well, that's it from the Nnpp party. Well, we are joined in this conversation by Barrister Ladi Johnson. Barrister Johnson is the National Publicity Secretary of the Nnpp. He will let us more into what is happening within the party. Good evening, Barrister Johnson, and thanks for coming to Political Lens.
Good evening, sir. Thanks for having me.
We appreciate your presence anytime. Welcome. Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Now, let's get into it. Barrister, what's going on in your party? What's the state of Nnpp? Elaborately tell us what is happening in Nnpp.
Well, I think the issue here, and I'm not talking about you.
Okay.
The issue here is that the press keep giving oxygen to individuals that they well know are not members of the party. If, for instance, Olaposi were the national secretary, then you wouldn't have me on this show as the national publicity secretary. The simple thing is for us to check with INEC. And in this day and age, we don't even have to go there. At the INEC portal, you look at it, you see who the national chairman is, who the national secretary is, and the logo of the party is there. Olaposi and his co-travelers have been to several courts and have been turned away. He is a master at misinforming and disinforming the Nigerian public, it would seem. So there is no problem within the Nnpp as recognized by INEC. There is no problem. They are not within the party. They go around with an old logo saying all sorts of things. They're not there. And then in trying to fool people, he says INEC should quickly do whatever. A decision that has been set aside, that they got a default judgment that has been set aside by the same judge, that they went to get in one corner. Contrary to existing judgments and rulings of Federal High Court Abuja and other places. So the bottom line is there is no problem.
Okay, Barrister Ladi, okay, you wanted to say something?
No, I was going to go into, I had to clarify that before talking about whatever Senator Kwankwaso said.
Okay, no, we'll get to that. But it's good that you have made this clarification at the beginning of the show because, like you said, exactly my point. Now we have you as the National Publicity Secretary saying that Dr. Ogini Olaposi is not the secretary of the party and that if you were, you will not be here. So that clearly shows that there is crisis in the party. But it's good that you have made this clarification that INEC has derecognized its own faction of the party and that the very court judgment that he referred to in his statement has also been vacated by another court, which clearly shows that at some point there might have been misunderstandings within the party. And that leads me to the second question, because a lot of people thought that this crisis had been
I don't
settled.
think you can hear me.
No, I can hear you.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Yes. I'm excusing you. There is no crisis. You say clearly shows there's crisis. If someone is throwing stones from outside,
Okay.
is there crisis in your home?
No, there is crisis, because if there wasn't crisis, the person wouldn't be outside throwing stones. The person would simply leave.
No, he doesn't have to be
Somebody
inside.
who was a member of my family and now is outside throwing stones.
The Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, the Electoral Act,
Okay.
permits you freedom of association. When you go to any association, there is a constitution.
Okay.
If you are no longer part of that party, part of that association, you cannot be saying that there's an internal crisis. You can say that there are people hurling stones from outside. It's a statement of fact. But within the party, there is no crisis.
Okay. Now.
Because all they are trying to do, let me tell you what the game plan is.
Okay.
Every party, most parties have issues. What these people are doing, I believe they are being used to continue to say, oh, there's a crisis within. They are not within. So that Q2, there can be some spurious court decision, some spurious thing, to make sure that there's no opposition in this country.
All right.
So that is why we reject it.
Now, Barrister Ladi Johnson, I wouldn't want us to get into the logic of it all, but if a party is factionalized, as we see now, will you say that there is no crisis in that party? Because we seem to have factions within the Nnpp.
No, sir, you are wrong again. A faction is a part of one. That is the definition of faction.
Okay.
Right? If, for instance, the governor of Kano is within the party, the national working committee is there. If those within the party now say we no longer recognize the national working committee, we want to start doing ours, after all we have the governor or whatever, then you can say that there are two factions, because we're all within the party. Before Ogini and his co-travelers started shouting over the top of their voices, they were already expelled.
Beautiful. Here we are again. Okay, now the party expelled them. But Olabisi on his own says that, look, Kwakwansia movement, Kwakwanso and his movement were expelled from the party. Barrister, that's
fantastic.
Fantastic. So who do we believe now?
It's a simple thing. If he says they were expelled, go and check his party. Is his party registered with INEC? That's what I'm saying.
No, he's talking about the Nnpp. He's talking about the Nnpp.
You are forcing me to say this. It would seem that the press in this country do not do their work. They do not. If not, look, Olakposi's brother, our former publicity secretary, who calls himself a national chairman, went on a program, political program, you know it, from one of the top channels in this country. And the gentleman told him that you call yourself national chairman. I cannot call you national chairman because you are not recognized by INEC. You have the right to go to court. You have the right to say you should be the one there, but you are not the one there. But when you take them and say, the national secretary said, the national chairman said, oh, therefore there are two persons. If I come to your station and say now that I am the marketing manager of VOP, you push me out, you call security, and then someone now reports that, oh, there's a faction there. Of course, you say that Ladipo Johnson was never a member of staff. Where is the faction? It's a simple thing.
Okay, Barrister Ladi Johnson, it is not as simple as you paint it. Because we have had cases, excuse me, sir, we have had cases in this country, and it wouldn't be very right for you to blame the press, because you people play into our hands. We have so many judgments. At a point, INEC, the regulating body, says, look, we don't even know which is which. Now, let me ask you, as at the time the David Mark led leadership of the ADC, as at that time that the INEC had not uploaded the new executive on their platform, would you have said at that time that David Mark and his co were not recognized, were not valid members of the ADC? What will you say about that?
Good. That is a process, right?
Okay.
That is a process. For those who know, you understand? For those who know or who ought to know, they would know that this change had started to occur,
Okay,
and that this was happening. Now, in this case, the press ought to know. If they do their work, that's what I'm saying. I didn't want to go there before. I'm a lawyer. If you come to me, I say, okay, are there any subsisting cases? What is this one about? What is this one about? Okay, there's a ruling here, there's a judgment here.
okay,
which one is
okay. But Barrister Johnson, I like us to move on. Let's not dwell on this, because if you call Dr. Ogini Olaposi now, he is going to say exactly different thing from what you are saying. So it will be difficult for Nigerians to believe what it is, especially when you have, especially, excuse me, sir.
On the person,
yes, especially when the, excuse me, Barrister, especially when there are multiple court cases that have not been decided, even to the point that INEC cannot on their own say this is the true position. I would like for us to move on. Let's talk about.
Why can't INEC say this is the true picture?
It happened before in this country. It happened before in this country.
Why can't INEC say INEC is the umpire?
Okay.
Every NEC meeting and convention we've had, okay, INEC have been there.
Good.
They've been taking minutes. They haven't had one with anybody there.
Barrister Johnson, Barrister Johnson, excuse me, I forget about my research, because I rely on experience with what INEC has done with political parties. At a point, INEC said, we observed the meeting, the convention, the mini convention held in ADC, for Ralph Mosu to resign. And even after that, INEC came out to say, look, we were not part of it until you said like it's a process. You can't win this argument, and I can't win it. So let's just leave it and move on with the discussion. As far as Nigerians understand, there is crisis within the Nnpp. But according to you, excuse me, Barrister.
Look, I'm a publicity secretary.
Okay.
You want me to sit down here and tell you there's crisis?
No, you have said there's no. I said there is crisis. I said there is crisis. I said there is crisis, and you said that there is no crisis.
Nigeria understand. A lot of Nigerians don't understand.
If you go to media, they'll
tell you.
If you go to the media now,
they know the people who run Nnpp as recognized by the courts and by INEC.
Okay.
That is the situation at the moment.
Beautiful. That is the award. That is the award.
But it hasn't come up.
Now, that is the award against that of Olaposi. When I talk to him, I'll hear from him. I'll hear from him too. Barrister Johnson, can we move on?
Is not the court. Ladipo Johnson is not a judge sitting at the Federal High Court.
Okay. Now,
it's not my word against this.
Okay, I'll bring him here. So that he can also have give us his own version. So that he can give us his own version of what is going on within the Nnpp. Barrister Johnson, 2027 is less than 2 years away from now. How prepared is your party for the task ahead? Has your influence grown? Has your influence? No, I didn't say that.
No,
I didn't say that. No, you just said.
That's the implication.
No, it's not the implication. No. Don't put words into my mouth.
Continue. How prepared are you?
Is your party, ahead of 2027? Has your influence grown beyond your traditional stronghold, Kano?
We are prepared. We are preparing. We are preparing, and we naturally have all these sort of external distractions. But we are prepared. We just had our neck, and we're getting ready to begin our ward congresses, to the local government, to the states, to the zonal, and then to a national convention. Most likely, the congresses will commence towards the end of the year, so that by the end of first quarter next year, we will be ready, most likely, for our convention. That is the process we're facing at the moment. What is also happening is that the party on its level and some individuals in the party, including distinguished Senator Rabi Musa Kwankwaso and others, have people talking to them, approaching them to see whether there could be a marriage of sorts, coming together to get towards the 2027 elections as well. So the party is involved in these. Our style is different. Immediately after the 2023 elections, we stated that we were open for talks with groups, political groups, parties, individuals who have one way or the other believe that they want this country to move forward at a faster pace, in a better direction for the benefit of the citizens of Nigeria. And we've been open since. And as I said, we've had some talks. Now, I can tell you, before you ask, that there have been no official talks yet, either between the Nnpp and the APC or the ADC.
Okay. I wonder how you were able to preempt me, because I was coming to that.
I know.
No, but before we get to that, now, what is the state of the Nnpp in Kano State? Because I understand that you are in Kano as you speak with me, and the way when you appeared on screen, I thought that, look, this is not Laddie Johnson. This looks more like the governor of Kano State, until I looked very well and said,
the governor is lighter.
Okay, but the way you dress, the traditional cap and all of that. So what is the state of the Nnpp in Kano State? Is it intact?
Well, of course, the Nnpp is waxing stronger and stronger in Kano. Okay. Just, when was it? Was it Thursday or Friday? Last week, we had about some 2,000 or so members of the APC from a few of the local governments coming to declare for the Nnpp in Kano. This has been a continuous thing. So in Kano, the party is growing, the party is intact. To answer, to shed more light to, I think, to go deeper into your question, the fact that one or two people may have been suspended or expelled does not mean that the party is not intact. You understand? Because when people leave a party, you try to see what they're taking with them. It's like when our friend Olakposi Ogini was expelled, you understand? He was former chairman in Ogun State. What did he take with him? You understand? So it doesn't, one person leaving doesn't mean that the party is not intact. I tell you, more and more people are coming in, especially here in Kano, where you have a lot of the youth joining the party, coming into the party. So the party is waxing strong, and especially here in Kano.
Okay, all right. Barrister Laddie, a few minutes ago, you said that that the party was strong, prepared for 2027, except for the few distractions here and there. Where are those distractions coming from? Are they internal or external distractions?
I'm talking about external distractions. Especially the one that cost us some 5-6 minutes of arguing in this program. Do you understand? Okay. That's all I'm talking about. There are people outside throwing stones, saying this. If Senator Kwankwaso says this, then they come up quickly and say, oh, he's not actually in our party. We had some, what's it called again, that you said in your introduction? Memorandum of Understanding. Okay. Ask any lawyer about a memorandum of the Electoral Act doesn't even recognize a memorandum of understanding. And it is because they lack wisdom. Sorry to use that phrase. If Buba Galadima signed a memorandum of understanding with you some 2022 that, oh, they are coming to your party or whatever, what has that got to do with INEC? The Electoral Act, the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, says that once you are 18, you come on your own individual basis. Nobody comes as a group. That's why they always say, go and join in your ward, whether you're a presidential candidate or not. So does it make sense to be talking about some memorandum of understanding they had with maybe Buba Galadima signing? I was in the Gambia at that time. Senator Pongozo called me and says, oh, laddie, I said, Your Excellency, I spoke to you a few days ago. I'm on holiday. He said, no, you have to come back. We had a talk with Nnpp, we're moving to that party. You have to come back. And I had to cut my holiday short. But when I joined the Nnpp, I joined as an individual, notwithstanding that I'm a member of Kwankwasia or that I was in the PDP.
Okay.
I joined as an individual.
All right, but Barrister Ladi, when you say that the Electoral Act does not recognize memorandum of understanding, what about when parties are trying to merge, like we saw the APC?
That's a different thing.
Okay, what's the difference? What's the difference?
The difference is that the Electoral Act talks you are allowed to merge, you are allowed to do whatever you want to do. You merge, you leave your certificates, you now say we want to become so, as happened with those who joined the APC at that time. That is different. Now, when they merged and everything, did that baptize all of them? It didn't. We still had to go to the ward to get our membership cards as member of APC. I didn't say I'm come from PDP and from Kwankwasia and we're joining, I had to go to my ward in Surulere, Lagos and join as an individual. And that is what I'm trying to say. So I keep telling Ogini and Co, you are just, go and get some legal advice. If you have legal advice and they're not advising you rightly, forget talking about some memorandum of understanding between a group that was not registered by law.
Okay, now, can a memorandum of understanding, can it translate to an alliance at some point? An alliance between one group or the other, or between a political party and another?
An alliance, right, will come together, recognized, or a merger or alliance recognized by INEC, right? Okay. If, right, you have, I know where you're going to, if you have some form of agreement or an alliance that doesn't need the stamp of the Electoral Act of INEC, and you say to yourselves that I'm going to support you, I am within the Nnpp, but I will support you for office of governor. If you win, I want secretary to government, I want 3 commissioners, etc., etc. That is an agreement between you. Okay. How do you ensure, or what do you do, what redress do you have if that governor gets elected and throws you all away immediately? Your guess is as good as mine. Right? Okay,
so at that point it's not actionable. You can't go to court to contest it.
That's why I said your guess is as good as mine.
Now, Barrister, will it be right to say that an agreement is the same thing as a memorandum of understanding?
A memorandum of understanding
is it different from an agreement?
It is.
Okay.
Go and look at it properly.
No, go ahead.
A memorandum of understanding might not, in most cases, it is not what's it, actionable.
Okay, not
In most
justiciable.
cases.
Okay. In most cases,
An agreement
I heard you say in most
under
cases.
deed.
But on what cases could it become justiciable? Will it become actionable?
You said I should come and discuss politics. Now you've turned it to a law lesson.
No, you brought
Do you understand?
you brought in the legal aspect of it because we're
No,
ordinarily
you see,
discussing politics.
I don't know. There are some aspects once in a while. I think when you have things like they've spent money on it, they've done. You understand? But basically, it is different from an agreement which is like a deed, signed, sealed, delivered. You understand? It's different. The problem we have is that in society here, especially in Abuja, every agreement they want to do, individuals, they say, memorandum of understanding, memorandum, they don't know the effects or non-effectiveness of it. It's just a guide as to the intentions you have. It's different from an agreement.